Hello, my awesome friends. I hope you're doing well. Today, we are moving into the business domain. Business is a domain that I have to be frank about. A lot of people, they struggle with it. Some even get needs improvement below target on the actual exam. So just be aware that it's not a cakewalk. And the reason why the business domain is so challenging to some people is because the PMI in the PMBOK Guide 6 and 7 does not go into a whole lot of detail about these concepts. So a book like the PMP Exam Immersion from Praizion Media goes into a whole lot more than any of these publications. I mean, we're covering everything in detail. So just be aware that today's episode is high level. If you really want more content, I would highly advise that you get the PMP Exam Immersion book. All right, so it says plan and manage compliance. But what is compliance? Compliance means complying with certain laws, certain regulations, certain rules in whatever industry you're in. So in the world of project management, we need to confirm what the compliance categories are that we need to be adhering to. We need to understand what compliance, for example, in the United States, we have different types of compliance. We have OSHA compliance, which is health and safety. We have Americans with Disability Act. We have SOX compliance. We have all sorts of compliance clauses. It really depends on your background, whichever industry you're working on, but you could have various kinds of compliance, and it differs by country. Okay, so just be aware of that. We also have, in the world of healthcare, we have compliance about patient records, right? Things like patient records and patient information. We take that very seriously in the United States and other countries. Okay, so HIPAA laws, HIPAA rules, some of you are familiar with things like that. Secondly, you got to classify compliance categories. What are the categories of compliance? Like I said, health, safety, security, and so on. Then we should, as project managers, determine if there are any threats to compliance. Are there any threats? If they are, what are they? And what are we going to do about them? It's important that as a project manager, every aspect of the project is effectively thought of, and check the box on all of those things, So it's just one of those things that the project manager is also expected to do. It's called project management professional. So it's one of our responsibilities. All right, and then we want to use methods to support compliance. Whichever way you're going to do it, whether it's by assigning a third party to audit you, whether it is assigning various individuals on the team to carry out certain compliance related tasks. Those are things the PM should be thinking about, brainstorming with the team, understanding what the best practices are. A lot of companies, they get third party companies to do audits for these reasons, right? For integrity's sake. All right, and then analyze the consequences of non-compliance. There are some instances in which the cost of being compliant is actually more than the cost of the penalty for not being compliant for a period, And for that reason, some people say, okay, we're not going to be in compliance, we'll just pay the penalty. But for your exam, be aware that most of the time you hear the word compliance, you do want to be in compliance. I'm yet to see a question that says don't be in compliance, right? That word, PMI takes it very seriously. Okay? And then lastly, you want to determine the approach to address compliance needs, be they risks, legal risks, operational risks, because some firms, you're not in compliance, you're going to be paying hefty fines. So, be aware of things like that. and then measure the extent to which the project is in compliance. It's like an audit, you know. So all of these are things that you should be thinking about as a project manager. I'm going to cover them one more time. Number one, the task is called Plan and Manage Project Compliance. You want to confirm project compliance requirements. You want to classify compliance categories. You want to determine potential threats to compliance. You want to use methods to support compliance. You want to analyze the consequences of non-compliance. You want to determine necessary approaches and actions to address compliance needs, be they risk, legal, or other. And you want to measure the extent to which the project is in compliance. Again, you have very little information in the PMBOK guide, I'll tell you that straight up. So your best bet might be, like I said, get the PMP exam immersion book from Praizion. We cover the business area quite thoroughly from a predictive standpoint, also from an agile standpoint. I would also advise looking into chapter 2 of the PMBOK guide, 6th edition. Chapter 2 has got some business and compliance related information that I would advise you to pay attention to. All right. Okay, my friends. Well, I think we made it. That's the end of today's journey. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, okay? Don't forget, chapter 2. And you could also read Agile Practice Guide, chapter 6, where we have the talk about PMOs and change in organizations and all that stuff. And there might be a few patches in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition that have compliance as a word. I would search for that word and I would look for chapters that relate to it. All right. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.